everybody, and welcome back to VETchat. I'm really looking forward to today's episode and welcoming a brand new guest to join me, Tammie O'Leary. Before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about Tammie for those who may not know. Tammie is the co-founder, alongside Jade Statt from StreetVet, behind the Human Animal Bond Day, a platform dedicated to fostering collaboration among charities, organisations and individuals who recognise and cultivate the profound connection between humans and animals. Tammie deeply values her own relationships with her beloved companions, including a homebred horse and a resilient three-legged rescue pointer. She passionately believes that the human-animal bond transcends socioeconomic status and living conditions, asserting its unique significance for each person. A strong advocate for StreetVet, Tammie highlights the essential role this charity plays in supporting people with unconventional lives and their cherished pets. She is immensely proud of the StreetVet team and is committed to raising awareness about this and other charities through her platform. The Human Animal Bonds Awareness Day, celebrated on Sunday the 28th of July, showcases the efforts of various collaborative entities dedicated to this cause. So welcome, Tammie, to VETchat. Thank you so much for being here.
Look forward to this.
So to kick us off, do you want to tell us a little bit about your role in organising the Awareness Day that's happening this weekend?
Absolutely. Thank you for your time today. It's something that I, again, as you've said, I feel very passionate about with StreetVet. And during my time volunteering for StreetVet, I'm not a vet and I'm not a nurse, but my background is in the animal science space and with business. So during COVID, I had a bit of time because we were furloughed from work. So I had a bit of time and I wanted to use that positively. Mm-hmm. So I approached Jade because two things I'm very passionate about is charity and also the veterinary industry. So I thought the two together, I'll be able to help here. And my role with StreetVet is that originally it was a smaller team, and we're going back 4 years now. Now they've grown immensely, both in volunteers and staff. But when I started with them, my skills, I like rules, and I was a data protection officer for a while. So I was helping with GDPR and setting up some policies. So that's how I started. And then once I'd helped Jade and the team with that, I moved on to grant submissions. So obviously they need support financially to do what they do because they're providing free of charge services. And there are grants out there that we could tap into. So my job was to write the grant submissions, submit them with all the relevant documentation. And some people would find that very boring, but I actually quite enjoy that. And then I would help them raise money that way. So my background with them is more on the admin side. Okay. And I was very lucky to have spent time with Jade, and who is, as you know, the co-founder of this day and of StreetVet, and Zoe Abbott's as well. Both of them are quite inspirational to me. The heart that they have behind StreetVet and the cause that they promote is something that obviously transcends the veterinary industry now, and they've got about 500 volunteers now. Wow. So it's a growing cause. We call it a tribe because you feel like you're part of something special. So my background with them was to support them on the admin side and the financial side. And then Jade and I realised and spoke about the fact that obviously one of the main reasons for StreetVet is to keep the pet with their owner as much as possible. And Jade and the team had set up the StreetVet hostel, accredited hostel scheme. And I realised that the human-animal bond, no matter your residential status, no matter your financial status, no matter your health status, the bond, it doesn't depend on any of that. It depends on your unique relationship with the animal. And I don't think we should judge people on their status. And why should their relationship with an animal be any less than it is with us? Just because we've got a place that we call home, a place we can go back to, doesn't mean that our relationships are any stronger than those who are in that situation. So it's something that I feel strongly about, and the team, the volunteers and the staff see this on a daily basis, that these clients of theirs will do as much as possible for them. So they provide free of charge veterinary care and services to those that are experiencing homelessness in the UK. And they're in about 22 locations around the UK. So the human animal bond is very evident to the StreetVet team. And we realised that it's not just StreetVet, that there are a lot of other charities that promote this bond. And there isn't a national day to promote it. So we thought, you know what, we're ambitious. Let's start one up. And so our work began.
Fantastic. And how long has it been going for now, the event in particular?
The actual event, so the work started in 2021. There's a lot of phone calls, lots of Teams calls, lots of setting up. And then last year in 2023, we were very blessed to be able to host it from Battersea. So last year it was a remote set of Facebook talks, and we had about 8, and they were all throughout the day from Battersea. So we had Claire Balding, we had Rory the vet, we had James Greenwood, we had luckily we had 2 people from StreetVet talking as well. So that was last year. And then this year, I'm very pleased that we're going slightly different. We're going to the Donkey Sanctuary, and I'm very pleased to be there because they represent other forms of the human-animal bond, because they do donkey-assisted therapy sessions. You have to be referred for them, but anybody who's spent any time with donkeys will realise it's very special. They're quite magical. And there's a very strong bond between some of their recipients and the donkeys at the sanctuary.
Mm-hmm. Wow, sounds incredible.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And whereabouts is it being held? Where is the Donkey Sanctuary?
So the Donkey Sanctuary is in Sidmouth. The main headquarters is in Sidmouth. We'll be hosting from Sidmouth, from the Donkey Assisted Centre, but the presenters who are supporting us on the day will also meet and greet with the public as well. So it's all free to come. So if you're in the Sidmouth area, please come along. If you're not in the Sidmouth area, then you can come to our Facebook Live events from our page.
Fantastic. Okay, brilliant. So where should people search if they go to Facebook to find the lives?
To the event page, and they're all posted and promoted as well. So if you follow the page, they will pop up for you. But if not, just go to the events, and there's a list of all of them starting from 10 a.m. going through to 5:30.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. So tell me a little bit about your own personal experiences with your animals. We mentioned at the start you've got a horse, haven't you, and a 3-legged rescue. Tell me us a little bit about them.
So my background is I grew up luckily surrounded by animals. So I sort of had a bit of sanctuary of my own, that when you are growing up and you've got those moments, I retreated to my animals. So I had a very strong connection and relationship with my animals growing up. And then that carried on throughout my education. So I studied equine science, and then I've used animal health as my career as well. But I've always volunteered, and I've always had animals. I'm lucky enough to be able to do that. And I bred my own horse. He's called Rufus. So I've got him, and he's his own character. Everybody knows him. He's very unique. And I also have a Turkish pointer. He was from a charity in Wales, and he had a road traffic accident, and he's got 3 legs. But wow, he manages superbly with 3 legs. So growing up, I was surrounded by animals, and any time I felt that I needed to get away from the world, I would be near my animals, and I would benefit from being around them. I would benefit from spending time with them emotionally, physically, because you're working with the horses, etc. And I've always found that personally I benefit from being in their presence, and I get comfort from them, but not justice. It feels really selfish when you say I get, but actually we all try to do something worthwhile to our animals as well. So a lot of us want to rescue because it makes us feel like we are doing something good. We can control that in a world that we don't get to control very much. We get to control if we can actually help the animals. So I know a lot of people are rescue, don't buy. And that's what I certainly did. And I would like to think that a lot of the charities that we deal with are also promoting that. So my experience with animals has been generally horses and dogs, a few rabbits and dagoos thrown in as well. And I've gained a lot of comfort from my animals, and I hope that I provide them with a safe, comforting home. But I also think that it's nice to give them a purpose, to give animals a purpose as well. So there's a talk during the day. It's a recorded talk, and it's by Lindsay Arliss from Wood Green Animal Shelter. And I urge people to watch this talk because I learned more about my particular breed of dog. So he's a pointer. And the name of her talk is Meet My Pet. And it's about going back a step, really, and understanding the breed of your animal and what you can do to enrich their lives. So a Chihuahua will be very different than a Great Dane and such like. So it's just working out your type of dog and what you can do to enrich their particular lives and what they need, rather than I gain. It's about giving back to them as well.
Oh, no, that sounds brilliant. Because I was going to ask, do you think it is mutual and it benefits obviously both humans and animals as well?
Yeah, the American Veterinary Association say that it is mutual. We both, animals and humans, benefit mentally, emotionally, and very often physically. So there are some wonderful charities on our collaborators page of our website. So they're about loneliness as well. So some of them fix relationships up between, whether it's a session or fostering or adopting, they fix people up with animals, and it's about companionship. So this goes beyond just the physical. It's about, if you go for a dog walk, that you're likely to meet somebody and talk to them as well. And that's really important to some people. So it goes beyond just the I feel loved. This is about emotional and physical health as well, and well-being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And everybody's situation is so different, aren't they? And, different animals can come into your lives at different times, and they can have such a huge impact, on that.
And we're very blessed to be able to do that, aren't we, in this country? That we can take them for a walk. We've got some beautiful walks we can go on. We can happily speak to another owner. I know that's not as easy at the moment, because of course you've got people who might get segregated because they're trying to protect their dog, their XL bully, for example, with a mask. So there's lots of things that can affect people when they're taking a dog for a walk, but generally it's a positive thing. And mentally, emotionally, physically, absolutely. The more we can get out with our animals where it's suitable, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. And how has the community responded to the awareness days so far?
Sometimes I get a bit overwhelmed, but the response that we've had, and Jade said to me, once you start something and it rolls and it goes well, expect it to do very well. And I've been so blessed and pleased with the response that we've got from the charities, organisations and individuals. So it's not just charities. We've got individuals such as Tess has got a dog called Kratu. She represents the ADHD community as well. We've got Chloe, who's got Ocho, and she is a wheelchair-bound nurse who's the first one to have a dog with her. So it's not just about the charities. We've got the RSPCA, SSPCA, PDSA. We've got the Donkey Sanctuary, obviously. We've got Riding for the Disabled. We've got all sorts of charities. And we've also got individuals, but we've also got companies who believe in the animal bond. And the response I've had from people, I've gone out and asked particular companies to join our cause. And other companies have come to me and said, I want to be part of this. I get this. The staff understand this, and we believe in it. So we have to believe that they truly believe in the cause and the values and believe our mission and vision. And when they do, they join on. And the job I have is to promote those charities, individuals and organisations via social media or by our website. And we shout about them, basically. What I found is not everybody understands the amount of charities and ways in which animals benefit humans. So there's the medical detection dogs. You've got a lot of the autism charities. You've got the loneliness charities. There are so many, and I urge people to just have a look, because we're just a fraction of what's out there. But I hope that in time we can get more charities, individuals and organisations on board, shout about them, what they do. And if we can gain them more followers, if we can get them to fundraise, if we can get them to work in some of the shops, fantastic. Because volunteering, no one ever regrets their time volunteering. Yeah. I have never regretted a day that I've spent my time giving it to either Riding for the Disabled or StreetVet or another. And I urge people to do it because there's nothing but positive. if you've got some time. And it doesn't always mean you've physically got to be somewhere. So my skills during COVID meant that I could work remotely and help remotely. And I would urge people to just offer a few hours and see how you get on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We at the Webinar Vet, we offer 2 charity days a year for all of our team. And one of the lads in the team, he volunteers quite frequently, and he absolutely loves it. And the feedback that he gives is just incredible. So yeah, absolutely great. It's so important to do so.
And I would absolutely urge companies as well watching this, because there's a little bit of a link here, but when I worked for StreetVet, I got the team to go to the Birmingham Donkey Sanctuary. And first, some of the staff were, really? And by the end of the day, we had adopted a donkey called Cisco, and we had helped do physical work around the location. And everybody loved it. And I urge companies to get involved with a local charity, even if it's painting fences, whatever it might be, just one day a year, or more, hopefully, that you can offer to help. And it's a great team building event. And I would urge people to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So where do you see this going, Tammie, in the future? What are sort of the goals and the vision for the future?
Well, we've got 50 collaborators at the moment, and that's within 2 years of doing this. And I will hope that there are more listening that would like to get involved. I know there are companies out there, individuals and organisations, who understand the human-animal bond, and all we're trying to do is bring together, and I hashtag this quite a lot, and I absolutely believe in it, is charity community. No charities in this organisation that we've put together are in competition with one another as such. We're all trying to take a bit of maybe someone's time and attention, or get them to follow us. So I want to grow, obviously, the amount of followers that we have. I want to grow the amount of collaborators that we have and we talk about. I'd like next year to have a bigger event. So last year it was completely remote. This year we're lucky we got it split remote, and people are able to meet and greet the presenters. Next year, I would hope that we'll be able to go to one of the collaborators' locations. And again, we'll be able to present, people can meet and greet and ask questions, because I don't think there's anything people like much more than talking about their pets. I think we could all sit for hours, and we can either talk and show photos of the ones we used to have or the ones we've got now, and everybody's got stories. And people who get it, get it. And there's a sort of a community around that. And I think that's a great thing we'd like to share more of. So I'd like to have more collaborators, more followers, and a bigger event. StreetVet Animal Health are very kind in setting me up with this in the first place. I absolutely think that company understand the human-animal bond. They work with a charity called Dogs for Good, and they're on board with this as well. And so I'd like more big charities to get involved. I'd like more organisations and people who have got stories. And the thing I've found is that the stories that gain the most traction are real life stories. They're people who have got a really positive story to tell, or they've got something that, it might have made them sad at the time, but I think it's worth sharing. And it's the real life stories that seem to get attention more than ones I might post from celebrities or such like. It's real time, and that's all telling to me. That the more we can share, the better. And I can assure you that if on Sunday we go out and we talk to those who are coming along to the Donkey Sanctuary, because dogs are allowed, that as soon as we start talking, they'll tell us about their dog, they'll give us stories, and it's a lovely thing to share. And so I'm hoping that we can grow the platform, the numbers of people. Sponsorship always appreciated, because the more we can do, the bigger the event, the more people we can get involved. We've had some fantastic prizes from companies that, and on the social media, I put out competitions, very simple competitions for people to get involved in. So post a photo of your dog sleeping, post a picture of your horse doing whatever, and that's got people involved. So that's a nice thing as well. So it's a community.
Yeah, brilliant. Oh, that sounds great. And if people are listening now, obviously it's only a few days away, so it is quite short notice, or they might even be kind of, listening after the event's happened. Is there any other ways that you'd want people to get involved, or how can people help if they'd like to?
So yeah, this year is pretty much sorted. So if they can log on to the website, the agenda is on our website. They can go via our social media and all of the Facebook lives you can see, so you can press interested or going. That's great. If you're in the Sidmouth area, please come along. You're not going to be able to watch the talks there and then because they're in a certain centre part of the actual location that the public can't come to, but they will be shared later. But no, just get involved this year regarding watching or popping along, sharing our social media posts to get involved in the competitions.
Excellent. Oh, that's great, Tammie. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners before we wrap up today?
I'd just like to thank a few companies who have supported this. Like I say, it's quite new. It's 2 years. This is our second event, live event. So obviously all the StreetVet staff work very hard in promoting the human-animal bond on a daily basis. Their volunteers are unique. Very much back them for what they're doing. They're all vets and nurses who are already working full-time or part-time, and then they go out and do outreach. So thank you to all of those guys. I'd like to thank Siva Animal Health for being supportive from day one. The Meraki initiative have supported the videography, so we'll be able to record these. So there's some people I'd like to thank that helped me organise all of this. So there's Mike, Laura and Carla, thank you. And I think, and all the followers and the presenters who are coming on Sunday. Everybody's doing this out of goodwill. No one's doing this to be paid. They're not doing it for that reason. They're doing it because they believe in the animal bond. And please log on and have a look at the agenda. We've got Faith from the Donkey Sanctuary talking. We've got Peter Wright, the Yorkshire vet, who's going to talk with me. We've got the wonderful Hercule van Wolfwinkel. And if you haven't heard of Hercule, please Google him. We've got Esme Wheeler, who was from the RSPCA. We've got another animal behaviourist called Andrew Hale. We've got the Wood Green. And one that I'm particularly looking forward to, and it might get a bit emotional, is Diane James from the Blue Cross Pet Loss. And she is going to be talking about the fact of giving up and losing it is the hardest part of loving our animals. So it's going to be an emotional ride. Join us, bring tissues, and I hope that everybody gains something from each of these talks.
Brilliant. Oh, well, best of luck, Tammie. It sounds fantastic. I hope it all goes wonderfully for you.
Thank you for your support and the webinar, Vet. Thank you very much.
Oh, no, our pleasure. And best of luck. We'll keep an eye out on all the socials and we'll tag everything as much as possible as well that we can.
See you next year, hopefully.
Yes, would love to. All right. Thanks very much. Take care.